So even if we defeat the Islamic State or make strides to defeating the Islamic State in Iraq, if you will, then what happens? And you've got Iran and Iraq. Where does that leave?
Let's say that there were moderate Syrian rebels. I don't think there are. But let's say miraculously there were, and that we were able to support them, and they were able to defeat ISIS. Then what happens next?
Right.
The Iraq government no longer exists. There's no longer some happy land of Shiites and Sunnis and Kurds in a unified Iraq government. It is now tribal warfare everywhere. And so you have one tribe versus another tribe, the bigger tribes versus the other bigger tribes. We have one friend in the Middle East right now, and I think that's the Kurds. We should arm the Kurds directly, let them do whatever it takes to defend themselves, and then, frankly, let everybody else just do what they want.
Yeah, and what you're starting to see in the Middle East right now is that Iran is starting to get stronger.
Yeah,
We're actually giving them cash payments, so they're actually exerting their influence across the board and still funding terrorism. But I think you were talking about the deal with the devil, but I think the most important part of that with Turkey is that they were doing it with the oil, right? So how was ISIS able to sell all their oil? And reports were that it was coming through Turkey. So is that situation still happening? How's their oil?
It was going through, you know, what ISIS did is it got hold of oil resources, right? Oil fields, oil refineries, and they had oil, and they put it on tankers, they put it on boats, ships, and what were they doing with it? Who would buy it? You weren't supposed to buy this stuff. They were selling it at under market value, considerably discounted rates, and so a lot of countries and companies were looking the other way, taking the cheap oil.
That's still going on, though.
Yeah, sure it is, and that's what I mean, if you want to get serious about it, go after the oil. I mean, Donald Trump's right on that. Where's the oil? That's their source of wealth. Go after it. You know where that stuff is. Tell a country, tell a company, you want to buy that cheap oil from ISIS? Guess what? You don't trade with
So this
us
is part of that simple solution that you were talking about, how if it's not too complicated, it's not going to work. So this is...
And always follow the money.
Right.
So can we talk about Colin Powell and his Hillary Clinton email debacle that apparently they're in, because over the weekend Colin Powell said he only sent her a memo about his email practices to Hillary Clinton and didn't encourage her to use private email practices. He says she was already doing this for a year by the time he even sent her this memo. But as he put it, they're trying to pin it on me.
Oh, sure. They're trying to say he did it, so it's okay, he did it. Look, I've known Colin Powell for years. He's an honorable man with great integrity. I have emailed to him back and forth on his email account. What has happened, I think, is nobody's asked the fundamental question about Hillary Clinton and the email servers and Benghazi and all this stuff. Why the heck did you set that thing up in the first place? You knew it was going to cause you problems, probably big problems. Why'd you do it? I think from the very beginning, they wanted to have a private communications channel between the Clinton Foundation and the decisions out of the State Department.
She said it was all about convenience.
Oh, convenience. Yeah, well, convenience for pay-to-play and records.
And speaking of Colin Powell, he's been in Washington a long time. I wouldn't get in a knife fight with him.
No,
for the Clinton campaign, this is a silly distraction for them. I mean, Colin Powell knows how to play the Washington game. He's not going to let them pin this on him.
For him to be so blunt, to say Hillary Clinton's people have been trying to pin this email problem on me.
He's never that.
That's dropping the mic.
All right, I want to talk to you about this as well, KT. This bit of news: an auditor found that the U.S. Army made $2.5 trillion in wrongful adjustments to accounting entries in just a single quarter in 2015. The consequences of misstated financials. What does this pose a major threat to our national security?
Well, financial security. Look, in 1990, the United States government passed legislation saying all departments have to have audits, clean audits, every year or every X number of years. Guess is the only department in the United States government that hasn't passed a clean audit since 1990. I mean, most people weren't even born then, right?
Wow.
Is the Department of Defense. They've not yet to have a clean audit. Now, they have a million excuses why. But the fact is that we are one of the biggest items in our budget. I'm a hawk, all right? I believe in a big defense budget, but I want to find a clean budget. I don't want to see my dollars wasted.
All right, KT McFarland, thank you for being here this morning. Good to have you.